Could you imagine packing up everything in your life and moving to this unknown territory? Well, people did this in the early 1800s because there was opportunity and adventure.
People packed up all their stuff in a covered wagon that was pulled by ox. The normal journey took 4 to 6 months and took 2,000 miles.
They settled in multiple states in the West. They started traveling here after the Louisiana Purchase. This purchase doubled in the U.S. land.
The main trail started in Nuevo, Illinois and Independence, Missouri, and headed west through and around the Rocky Mountains. The only reason they could get through the Rockies is through the South Pass. The South Pass was discovered by Jedediah Smith, a fur trapper living in the mountains.
Jedediah Smith was a mountain man. Mountain men were rugged fur trappers who lived on their own most of the year but met every once in a while at rendezvous to sell their furs.
Another famous mountain man was Jim Beckworth. He was a slave set free by his owner at age 25 and became a mountain man. He became famous by discovering the Beckworth Pass, which leads to the present-day North Carolina.
There were 3 trails starting in the east that were most traveled. There was the Santa Fe Trail, the Oregon Trail, and the Mormon Trail.
The Santa Fe Trail started in Independence, Missouri, and ended in Santa Fe, New Mexico, then branched into different trails. William Becknell discovered the trail when he was delivering goods for trade in Santa Fe. The trail was an 800-mile track if you use the Cimarron cutoff.
The Oregon Trail also started in Independence, Missouri, and led through present-day Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, and Oregon. It was 2,000 miles long, and travel on it stopped in 1869, when the first transcontinental railroad was completed.
The Mormon Trail was 13,000 miles long and was traveled from 1846 to 1868. It started in Nuevo, Illinois, and ended in Salt Lake City, Utah.
The maker of the Mormons was Joseph Smith. He was murdered in a mob in Illinois, but Brigham Young led the Mormons to a new life in the West. They traveled west into Utah because they were prosecuted wherever they went and wanted to make a new start.
Pioneers traveled west because they wanted a new life. They heard it was amazing land and a pioneer's paradise. Some went for trade for the Indians and to make shops.
Women had the hardest job. They share all the danger and risk. Still having to cook, wash clothes, and take care of the young. When they settled, they also set up school, libraries, and churches.
There were many hardships on the trail. They had to pack all their belongings in one wagon. They had to deal with wild animals, bad weather, harsh terrain, and sometimes would run out of food. They had to walk the 2,000 miles to get there. Only the sick or the children got to ride in the wagon.
One of the first groups to do this were the missionaries. They went to spread their religion throughout the West. While traveling out there, they brought a disease with them. When the whites got this disease, they just got sick for a while, but the Indians died from it.
They couldn't escape the disease just like we can't escape the bees.
One special group was the Donners, also known as the Donner Party. They had 87 American pioneers traveling in covered wagons. Along their track, they got caught in Sierra Nevadas in a snowstorm. Due to the lack of food, they cannibalized the dead. When they reached California, they had only 48 left.
By taking the trails west, where we were showing that we are growing and getting more land, and we're expanding all over and eventually even more. This is the idea that many people had taken over the world, also known as manifest destiny.
These are the great resources that we use to make this great video.